what am I doing to move forward? You see, I talk about intentionality. We begin with intention. We must set our intention. And once we've set our intention, that's where we can be influential in whatever area that we're serving or working in. And did you realize that influence leads to impact? So it's our intention, our influence that leads to impact again.
And a very warm welcome to SDIG Global Conference 2025. SDIG's Global Conference this year is focused around beyond boundaries, building bridges in education, wellness, and AI for transformative growth, amongst several other subjects as well. Your hosts for the next few hours will be Dr. Joseph Nwaye, President and Founder of SDIG, and Dr. Karen Walker, who has been an SDIG stalwart for quite some time. Dr. Walker is an IOP specialist, which stands for Industrial Organizational Psychology, which means she's very clever. It also means that she's extremely good at organizing things, which is very helpful for all of us here.
And I've asked Dr. Robin Butler to come and be our keynote today for this inaugural conference, and really excited. She is a transformative leader, an educator, and working hard in developing organizations with her motto, I believe, of transform does not equal conform, and CEO of the Catalyst Consulting Agency. And I'm delighted to have her open up the conference for us and talk a little bit more about her Foresee model. And with all that being said, Dr. Robin K. Butler.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Dr. Walker, and thank you, Dr. Nwaye, for this invitation and the opportunity. I'm really excited to be with you. I love what you're doing and the opportunity to speak in forums as such as this. And so in the interest of time, I am going to jump right in. And so my topic this morning is I want to encourage you as we think throughout the day is transform, don't conform, as you lead with heart. And so, Robin, why heart? And how does this relate to us as we build bridges in education, wellness, and AI for transformative growth? I want you to think about something. Right now, organizations are transitioning their focus on their people to create inclusive environments that promote faith, vision, and altruistic love. It is important that we understand how critical emotional intelligence is in this hour as well, and we develop our self-awareness. Thought leader John Maxwell says that people must see your heart before you could ever ask for their hand. And so let's go a little bit deeper of why I stress the importance of leading with heart. I love the analogy of puzzles. I grew up with 4 siblings, so yes, there were 5 of us. And I can remember when we were younger, my mother used to give us puzzles that were not as complex. But as we got older, they became more complex. Think about organizations. I often find myself, I tell people most of my work is in classrooms as a college educator. I do a lot in congregation and faith-based entities, and then also businesses and corporations. And so today we're going to put the puzzle of the heart together. This was derived through my work when I was doing my study for my dissertation. And this model came from a theory from a guy by the name of Louis Fry. And so as I collected my data and went through this heart model that I've developed is the derivative of that. It is an intersection of leadership, and I'll say 3 leadership models. The title of my dissertation was Executives Who Emerge as Spiritual Leaders. Well, I didn't really want to do a religious-based study, but as I dug further, I said, okay, I think I'm working with something. So transformational leadership is the heartbeat for change. Open mind, open heart. Notice the heart there, and open will. Authentic leadership is characterized by values-based leadership. And there's a posture with our heart when we talk about values-based leadership. Lastly, I'm a lover of Robert Greenleaf and his servant leadership model. And he says you only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love to be a servant leader. And so as we think about building bridges, we think about inclusion, we think about wellness and transformation, I think we need to consider leading with heart. Heart is an acrostic for the H is honesty, the E is equity, the A is accountability, the R is resiliency, and the T is transparency. So again, Robin, why heart? Years ago, I read the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Years later, I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. There is a concept that is introduced in the book that says, that talks about the backwards ABCs. And the backwards ABCs are, if we can conceive, we can believe, and we can achieve. We conceive, we believe, we achieve. So let's connect the dots here. You know, I've already told you I like puzzles, so let's put this puzzle together. So as I reflected on this, Robin, what does that have to do with your model? What does that have to do with transforming and not conforming? You see, concepts, the C, begin in our head. That's where we conceive things. Okay, so that's our knowledge, that's our brain. Then when we believe, we connect things with our heart. So our belief system is tied to our heart. And lastly, when we achieve, I don't know about you, but I've never achieved anything by just sitting on my hands and not doing something. I had to do something. And so today we're going to say that achievement comes by doing something with your hands, rolling up your sleeves and doing something. It's actionable in order to achieve. So just a little bit further. So let's connect. We conceive with our head, we believe with our hearts, we achieve with our hands. I found myself where I could connect my concept to my head. That became my purpose, my mission, my vision, my goals. Then when I believe and I tied my heart with it, that's my passion, and I'm passionate about what I do. And I know I'm in an audience of passionate leaders that want to be inclusive, that want to promote wellness and transformative growth. And lastly, my potential. What am I doing to move forward? You see, I talk about intentionality. We begin with intention. We must set our intention. And once we've set our intention, that's where we can be influential in whatever area that we're serving or working in. And did you realize that influence leads to impact? So it's our intention, our influence that leads to impact. Again, connecting our purpose, our passion, and potential. I want to tell you a Cliff Note version of my heart story. In 2014, I was serving as an HR director of an organization, a defense contractor, in fact. And I was asked to come into a room. I kind of already knew what was going to happen. And of course, in the interest of time, I'm leaving out some details. I had just helped this organization to secure their RFP for additional business. My executive vice president was on the phone, and my senior vice president was sitting in front of me. And they said, "Hey, Robin, we've got to make some changes to our current setup." Okay, what does that mean? At the end of our transition and our structural changes, there won't be an opportunity for you. We've decided to place a junior representative in the office we were going to build out outside of Seattle. They said, "You don't have to make a decision today, Robin. We want you to think about it." My husband was deployed to Afghanistan at the time. He served our country for 32 years. But I just said, "You know what? This is my mission." They said, "You don't want to wait and talk to Tim?" That's my husband. I said, "No." I rose up in the chair, and in that moment, that was the transformation that I needed as a leader, and where this heart model also comes from. Through that 9-month period, I was asked not to tell anyone that I was being impacted. So as you could imagine, it was difficult and it was challenging at times. But I chose to be an honest leader, an equitable leader, an accountable leader, a resilient leader, and a transparent leader. And that is what leading with heart is all about. It's all about the inclusivity. And when I think about diversity and inclusion, I think about it from the thought process, valuing what everyone brings to the table to create a sustainable, a well organization where we have psychological safety and everyone feels valued. So yes, this is a values-based leadership model that I created when I speak about leading with heart. Fast forward after 9 months, people said, "Well, Robin, how did you do that? How did you survive with 9 months?" After 30 days, yes, I was able to tell my team they were safe. But I said, we've got to get to work and we've got to do this. And so as I carried out my responsibilities over that 9-month period, and people began to find out it was time for me to go, how did you do it? I led with heart, being honest, being equitable, being accountable, having resiliency, because if you could imagine, it wasn't about the piece of paper that they slid across the table to say, "Robin, we've got the severance package and we've got this retention package because we don't want to go through this with anyone but you." My husband even said, "Are you crazy? What have you done?" But let me share with you today, I'll leave you with this. As you move forward in your businesses, in your careers, and in your education, I invite you to lead with heart. Just simply taking that model. It is so important that we do that because people want real leaders. They want you to be resilient. They want you to be emotionally intelligent. They want you to be authentic and a lifelong learner. I don't think I'll ever stop learning until I bid my farewell to earth and get that saying that it's well done. So some heart strategies as I leave you today. What did I learn through that process? I learned to not offend others and to not be easily offended. I learned not to have an opinion as a heart leader on everything. I also learned not to assume motive. And you know what? This is a big one. I learned as a heart leader to agree to disagree agreeably. Agree to disagree agreeably, because I think it is essential for us as leaders. Now, my final points to ponder come from thought leader Maya Angelou. As heart leaders, People may not remember what you say, but they will certainly remember the way that you made them feel. And my favorite quote by her: we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the opportunity. And I encourage you just to remember heart as you go throughout the conference today. Thank you so much, Dr. Walker.